Hi, this is Jane with Indoor Cycling on Demand. Today's video is going to go through the basics of not only an indoor cycling class, but an indoor cycling on demand class so that you will feel ready to go once you hop on the bike. A couple of logistics before going to a class, pressing play on an iCOD class. You want to make sure that you have a sweat towel as well as a water bottle. I recommend having 16 ounces at least of water. That way you have plenty and it'll cover you for the full length of the class. Next, you will want to make sure that you are set up properly on your bike. This is really important not only for safety, but to make sure you're getting the most out of your pedal stroke and getting the most out of the class. So first, we look at your seat height. You want to come up next to the seat. You'll bring your knee up in line with your hip, and you want the seat to be right in line with that hip bone. So you kind of align it there. You adjust it depending on the bike. Usually behind it, you can raise it or lower it. Mine's already set, so I'll keep it there. This is just a kind of rule of thumb, so you'll want to check it next, meaning you will slip your feet into the pedals, get yourself ready. And you'll know you're in the correct height when you bring your foot down to the bottom of the pedal stroke. You want to have about a 30-degree angle in your knee. Definitely making sure the knee's not locking out. You want to have a nice soft bend in the knee there. The next thing you'll look at either on or off the bike is your seat fore aft. So how close the seat is to your handlebars. I have heard the general rule of thumb that if you place your elbow at the edge of the seat, you want your fingertips to touch the handlebars. For me personally, that doesn't work. I find that I end up being too close to the bike and my knees are going over my feet. So I tend to sit back a little bit further. So you can adjust your seat height and then the fore aft as well. We'll hop back on to do a check. And the way you will know that your seat fore aft and that distance is good is when you come down to the bottom of your pedal stroke again, you want your knee to be right above the ball of your foot. So again, I've got that nice soft bend in the knee and my knee's right over my foot. The last thing will be your handlebar height. This really ultimately is based on personal preference. Usually new riders tend to ride with the handlebars higher, completely fine, as well as if you have low back pain, you tend to have tight hamstrings, it's usually more comfortable to ride a little bit higher, but a lot of people like to ride low as well, so it's completely up to you what you want to do. Let's talk about some posture tips when you're on the bike. In general, you want to keep your upper body fairly loose and relaxed, not putting a lot of tension. You also want to keep your neck forward and your eyes forward as well. This is a big reason why I create audio files of indoor cycling classes rather than a video, so that way you can ride the most naturally and don't have to look down at a screen, look elsewhere. You also always want to keep a soft bend through the elbow and keep your hands loose as well. Whenever I get on the bike, I always remind myself to roll those shoulders down and back to keep that chest open. This is going to help keep your spine neutral as well. So everything's nice and light in the upper body. As far as your pedals, you really want to do a full pedal stroke, meaning you're going to push down and pull up. This is going to engage your glutes and hamstrings, and it's going to give you the most efficiency from each pedal stroke. When we come up out of the saddle, usually when there's more resistance on the bike, we're climbing a hill, you want to change your hands to the more outside position of the handlebars. You can be lower or higher, whatever's more comfortable for you. And a big thing is you want to keep your bottom over your saddle. You also want to avoid swaying your hips, bobbing side to side. I see this a lot. So just keep that bottom over the saddle and really focus on the push and pull through the feet, not bringing that whole sway into it. If you've taken an indoor cycling class before, you've probably heard the term RPMs. That's your revolutions per minute, also known as your cadence or your speed. On a flat road, you want your speed to be between 70 and 90 RPMs. To give you an idea, 60 RPMs is a full pedal stroke on one side every second. So you want to pedal a little bit faster than one pedal stroke every second per side. Now for hill climbs, you usually have your RPMs around 60. as there's more resistance on the bike. This is for small and medium-sized hills. If you're climbing a steeper hill, you obviously will pedal a little bit slower to account for that, but around 60 is a good rule of thumb for a small to medium hill. In addition to your RPMs, the other main way that I teach is through resistance levels. There's a lot of different bikes out there. Most have the resistance knob that you turn right to add resistance and turn it left to take resistance off. But there's other bikes out there that have digital readers and other ways to reflect resistance levels. So I teach on a 1 to 10 scale. Now you never want to have 0 resistance on the bike or even a 1 on a 1 to 10 scale. So during our warm-ups we'll be at a 2. There's really not much resistance on the bike at all, but you feel something, there's something there. Just kind of gives your body a chance to warm up with light resistance, but you're working against something. The big one is going to be your level 4. Now this is your seated flat road. So you want to feel like if you were cruising on a flat road, that's how it should feel. So there's definitely resistance on the bike, but not so much that you can't maintain 70 to 90 RPMs. We do level 4 flat road quite often. We do sprints in there, we recover in there, we warm up sometimes, and we cool down in that level 4. Level 5 is very similar to level 4, except for now there's a slight incline in that flat road. Sometimes I describe it as having wind resistance in your face. It just feels a little bit more challenging. We usually start hill climbs in level 5, as well as our advanced sprinters can use it for their sprints as well. Level 6 is a small hill. We'll do small hill climbs in the saddle or out of the saddle. Level 7 then is a medium-sized hill. Level 8 is a steep hill. We do sometimes have a level 9, which is your steepest terrain yet. You can really not do too much more than level 9. You can't sustain it for too long. And with that, we don't have a level 10 because in theory, that's your max. The pedals wouldn't be turning. Indoor cycling on demand classes have a lot of different types of work intervals, but there are 4 main ones that I'll go through today so that you kind of know what to expect. The first one are sprints. We'll alternate between our seated flat road in that level 4 at 70 to 90 RPMs. And when we sprint, you're gonna bring those RPMs up between 90 and 110, kind of an all out go, 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 anywhere from 10 up to 60 seconds. Slow this down here. So you're pedaling as fast as you can, but again, you've got enough resistance on the bike to keep your pedal strokes controlled. Now, hill climbs are another one I've mentioned a little bit already, where we'll simulate an increase in terrain. So sometimes we do a straight climb up to the top, sometimes we kind of go up, we'll go down, we'll go back up and go back down. So you'll just be listening for which level of resistance that I cue so you know what type of hill to simulate. Endurance is similar to sprint intervals, except we're trying to hold a faster speed for a longer period of time, usually about 1 to 2.5 minutes. We'll hold our RPMs at about 100, so you are pedaling pretty fast because our goal here is to train our body to be able to ride longer and ride more efficiently. When you do endurance, you want to make sure that your level of exertion is challenging, but you don't want to become breathless. You can always adjust your resistance, slow it down as you need to hold that 100 RPMs. Rolling hills alternate between a level 4 seated flat and coming up and over a small to medium sized hill. So we'll be on our flat road, come up over a hill, flat road, up and over the hill. The hills are out of the saddle. I hope this tutorial makes you feel pumped and ready for your first indoor cycling class or your first iCOD class. Please never hesitate to reach out to me at Indoor Cycling On Demand. You can also follow me on Instagram, Indoor Cycling On Demand, or on Twitter, it's Cycling On Demand. Thanks so much and happy cycling.